Let's talk about Matthew Stafford, specifically his wife, Kelly. She appeared on Off the Vine with Caitlin Bristow and opened up on many things, including her relationship with the star quarterback.
I didn't know casual dating.
Wait, so was he trying to casually date and you were all in?
Oh, yeah, girl. And I didn't know what that was. So all of a sudden, we're kind of doing this thing, and then he's like, oh, I see him at a bar one night. And I'm like, what the f-? Anyways, long story short, it wasn't that cute of a relationship at first. I hated him. I loved him. I dated the backup to piss him off, which worked.
Oh, yes.
He was like,
that'll do it.
He was the bad boy, too. Like,
Let's pause here, because this was the moment the internet went ablaze.
You know you're getting when you're a guy. You always believe you're giving when you're a woman. So if you end up with somebody else, you gave to somebody else. If you're a guy, you took.
From Stephen A. Smith.
How do you feel about your significant other, who is now becoming more famous, speaking on what your relationship was in a way that can be seen as not positive or non-positive?
Leave the past in the past, but also, what's the point of it?
To the Pivot podcast, and of course, many more. I mean, even Fox News got in on it. NJ.com did too. Sports Illustrated dabbled. It was a lot.
Matthew's so sweet and Southern gentleman and all that stuff. And the backup was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Ooh, and it upset him, which it worked, thankfully.
Yes.
But yeah, at first it was
Was that like the pivotal moment in the relationship where he was like, actually, you can't be with him. You need to be with me?
100%. So they lived in the same dorm because athletes lived in the same dorm, and he would see my car there. And so at one point he like waited and followed me out and got in my car and wouldn't get out.
Stop.
And he was
You're
like,
this is so hot.
I was like, this is amazing. It's working.
Yeah.
I was get out of my car, and he was like, he's not right for you. And I was like, what? You can't tell me that. It's like, get the out of my car.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's dating like 12s out of 10s. You know what I mean? Like, he's dating, God knows, supermodels.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
Southern supermodels, but still.
Right.
Now here's the thing, and not to rain on anyone's parade here. She spilled this tea over 2 years ago.
I went back and forth there for a little bit with the love-hate. Some of my podcast is our story because it's a really funny story because we were all over the place. I dated the backup to piss him off. Like, that was the type of situation we were in.
You dirty dog!
Thus, seeing this clip and how it is resurfacing in a new form is pretty revealing. Nonetheless, there were rumors going around of who the backup could possibly be. After all, the Georgia Bulldogs carry a lot of quarterbacks on their roster. They carry a lot of players on their roster, as does a ton of D1 programs. The internet detectives then started honing in on who this could possibly be, and the name that started trending and trending and trending was a fella by the name of Joe Cox. Now, Joe is a happily married man. All right. He did indeed play for the University of Georgia as a quarterback. Then, when Matthew Stafford came to town, he was just knocked down the depth chart. I mean, think about it. Matthew Stafford ended up going number 1 overall for a reason in the NFL draft. So, here's where it gets a little interesting is not the right word, but just bad. There is speculation that this all went down when not only were Joe and Matthew teammates at the University of Georgia, but in addition, at that time, there is speculation that Joe was dating his now wife, Erica. Messy. Very, very messy. The Daily Mail would go further in theorizing that, look, it could be Cox, it could be fellow quarterback Joe Terensky III. However, we would then learn of all of this because when all hell broke loose, Kelly Stafford would post this. And we're going to not show the faces of the kids because I think it's just uncalled for and also lazy on Kelly's part. But she would write this. To this beautiful fam, I am sorry for the media storm that happened last week that made its way into your lives. You had zero involvement in what I spoke about. And in fact, it was y'all's relationship in college that I looked up to and wanted for me and Matthew. You were the couple that everyone thinks Matthew and I was. Y'all were the UGA quarterback and cheerleader that met and never let go. I love y'all. Kelly Stafford was also a cheerleader. In another post, she wrote, if it didn't affect others, I wouldn't even address it because it was so comical the way things were twisted. It was 16 years ago, and if you ask both Matthew and I if we would change anything we did back then, nope. But appreciate the laughs. So, here's what I say, all right? I do believe that there is some off-putting comments that were made about Kelly Stafford, which are wrong. If you are going to rip her for anything, there have been previous comments that she has made in the past that warrant criticisms and are totally fair game. This is something, and I truly feel like I am in the minority, that I do not care about. Because I'm going to tell you why I don't care about this. As long as she did not truly hurt somebody, which she could have, by the way, I am open to it. As long as she didn't physically or emotionally hurt anybody, and she got clearly, even though she didn't realize it at the time, the man of her dreams, it's easy to conclude that she won. It's also easy to conclude that Erica and Joe Cox won. It is quite literally a win-win. What I will also say is seeing the Stephen A. Smiths of the world talk about this on his YouTube channel. And quick sidebar, this getting more engagement and more views than his NBA draft preview. Think about that. Last I checked, this clip had about 93,000 views, and his NBA draft clip had 10. Could have improved from the last time I saw it, but it was at about 10 or 12. Says a lot about what he's building on his YouTube channel. I conclude with this. There are so many shows out there. And you could even say quote at this point that keeps trending over and over is not everyone needs a podcast. And that is true. But let's also be quite clear about this. They're happy. It seems Erica and Joe Cox are happy. This little tidbit, as troubling as some may perceive it as, got you all interested, didn't it? And if this is their story, then so be it. We've heard far worse. This is also the double-edged sword of making yourself readily available to go on countless shows to spill the tea of your personal life. We ask for transparency from so many people, and yet when we get it, we shun them and back them into a corner and make them feel like they are detrimental to themselves, and we put them down so harshly as a society. So I suppose my question is, which is it? We will always bask in our own reflected glory, but my issue is she shared something about their journey together. And as weird as it may come off, the amount of people who are calling her a WHORE or an SLUT or saying, oh, I can't believe she ripped Harrison Butker for his speech where he demanded women stay in the kitchen, and yet she's out there just sleeping with anybody. Meanwhile, if you listen to the whole podcast, she only had one boyfriend prior to that. I'm just at a loss. I'm at a loss. If you'd like to clarify, leave us a comment down below. And if you can, please do become a channel member. On our homepage, just click the join button.